it's fine.
Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us tonight for this edition of HR Mentorship Learning Series. Tonight, the topic we'll be looking at is changing the narrative of boss-subordinate relationship to mentor-mentee relationship, the essence of work-life balance. We are also very privileged to have a seasoned personnel facilitator tonight. His name is Mr. Shuaib Adiola Adio, and I would like to read his profile so that we can all get better familiar with his antecedents. Shuaib Adiola Adio is a professional human resource practitioner with around 15 years experience in human resource value chain that cuts across HR consulting, retail, FMCG, and so on and so forth. His area of specialization covers employee relations, benefits and reward management, performance management, payroll system administration, employee training and development, general administration, and so on and so forth. Shuaib holds a first degree in sociology from University of Ilorin, also known as Better by Far. He has a Master's of Science in Industrial Relations and Personnel Management from the Waterfront University of Lagos, Akoka, and he holds various diplomas in computer science, postgraduate diploma in education from the National Open University of Nigeria. He also has his diploma in human resource management. He's a full member, MCIPM of the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management of Nigeria, full member of the Nigerian Institute of Management, is a member of the Teachers Registration Council of Nigeria, member of the Nigerian Institute of Training and Development, is an active member of the CIPM since 2009 to date, and he has held various positions. For example, he was once the Study Center Coordinator for CIPM Lagos State Ikeja chapter, which is my own chapter. He was also a former financial secretary of the same chapter before he was selected General Secretary of Lagos State branch of CIPM. He has served in different capacities in CIPM Abuja, such as Assistant Secretary, Vice Chairman, and Chairman of the Abuja branch. He is the immediate Chairman Abuja branch and a former member of the Governing Council CIPM. Shuaib Adiola Adio has attended several trainings and conferences across institutes of learning and development in Nigeria. We are privileged, fortunate, and blessed tonight to have as our facilitator, Mr. Shuaib Adiola Adio. You have the floor, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Should I call you doctor now? Dr. Oluyemi Adeosu, for that long essay of mine. Thank you very much. I'm very grateful. To beat about the bush, we quickly go to the topic. I'm sure every one of us know what we understand by mentor-mentee. I will just take it through. This is supposed to be a kind of interactive, it's supposed to be a narrative, a storytelling. It's storytelling topics, not actually going to be a theory. But I could see some people will like say, this person that has PSC, MSc, and this one will be probably going to be an academic exercise. It's not going to be academic exercise. I need to assure you that it's going to be an interactive and informative session. So can you confirm you can see my slide before I go on? Mr. Adeosu, can you confirm you can see my screen, or some other people we can see my screen?
Please go on, sir. Please go on for the rest of the program.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We all know what a mentor is about. At this point, I would like to ask if you have been a mentee, either a religious mentee, any mentee whatsoever. Can I see your hands up? Can I see your hands up on that? Just raise up your hands so I'll be able to know who I'm going to interact with tonight. I've been a mentee, either as a mentee, a religious mentee, professional mentee, career mentee, what have you. Just raise up your hands from this thing so that I could be able to know who are my okay. While we're doing that, I also wanted to confirm that at this call, we also have some people who are also a mentor to some people on this call, either on this call or outside this call. We all know what mentor-mentee is all about. Mentorship is being defined by several ways. They have seen a mentor is the patronage, influence, guidance, or direction of given by a mentor. Mentor is a senior or more experienced person who is assigned to function as advisor, counselor, or a guide to a junior or a trainee. A guidance provided by mentors, and so on and so forth. I want to make this very quick as possible. We also know what is all about boss-subordinate relationship. We all, if you have been in a working environment, you understand what I mean by boss-subordinate relationship, and it is very, very strict relationship. Some people said it is official. If it's not official, it's not a relationship. So we are going to look at the two model of such boss-subordinate relationship. One is traditional model, which is in this model we have a boss-subordinate relationship in an organizational structure in hierarchical form, that you have someone who is above you that you report to, and whatever he says is what you go with. In management, we call this kind of relationship as autocratic. Is do this, no addition, no subtraction. You just follow the way it is being asked to do. Then we have top-down management, that decisions are made at the top and passed down to you to carry out. The boss instructs you to do something, and you instruct the subordinate on what tasks need to be completed and how to accomplish it. No forms of innovative, no form, just do it the way as it is. That's what they call it, official. Some people call it official relationship. It's official. What I ask you to do something, do it, and let's move on. No personal thing attached. It's purely business and official. On this kind of subordinate relationship, we also have focus on authority and control. The boss is the boss. It directs you and emphasizes that you must do this at a particular time, and you have no other option than to do it. And he also monitor you to the letter. And in this kind of relation, you will see some people micromanaging. When they give a task to subordinate, they will also want to check out if the subordinate has done it the way it's supposed to be done. This kind of relationship doesn't have any kind of other relationship apart from work, official work. So we'll move forward to this characteristics of this boss-subordinate relationship. Like I said before, there's a clear separation of roles. There's a separation of who is at the top, who is at the bottom. And this kind of relationship is what we always see, even if not 90% of all organizations all over the world. Boss-subordinate relationship. And it has one of the characteristics, clear separation of roles. You know the roles you perform as a boss, and you know the role to perform as also a subordinate. You understand? So here we have the boss assign the tasks, provide instructions, and evaluate your performance at the end of the day, while the subordinate execute that task and report to the boss, because it is a boss-subordinate relationship, nothing more, nothing less. One of the characteristics of this also, we have limited personal interaction. Like I said, it's going to be strictly on subordinate boss relationship. No emotional attached, no personal things attached. It's strictly official. Then we also have one of these characteristics as emphasis on tasks and outcome. Do these tasks A, B, C, but boss give that instruction, and subordinates take out that instruction as has been assigned. So in this one, we have the primary focus on completing of tasks and achieving organizational goal, often with less regard for the subordinate personal growth or job satisfaction. You understand? This one is very, very important. And this one of the things that I went through while when I started my career as HR officers. I wouldn't want to mention the kind of the organization, but the kind of relationship I have with my boss at that time is strictly what I just mentioned. Give a task, do it. No initiative, no personal addition. Just do it the way it's been instructed, and which is one of those things that actually made me to resign in my first job, because I was just being put in a comfort of not doing it outside the box, not doing outside what the boss has instructed to do. And this is one of those things that we make majority of our mentees always go through. And that's one of the reasons why I choose this topic as one of the topics I can use to be a kind of expository to most of the mentees that we have on this call, and also to educate those who call themselves a mentor. You understand? Because it's very important we have this. In HR, we always emphasize on this mentor-mentee relationship because of the fact of human factors that bind us together. Now we have mentor-mentee relationship. Like I said, I don't want to bore you guys with this definition, but I'll just go through it before I'll go to the my experience on this mentor-mentee relationship as it affects my career, or even up to now. Then we have collaborative and supportive structures in a relationship between mentor and mentee relationship. The mentee relationship is more collaborative, unlike the other one, with both parties working together towards mutual growth and development. The mentor is also looking forward to his own improvement, because in HR Power, we always say that we always want to learn, relearn, unlearn of what has been in place before. And this part of the training or this part of the development we always emphasize when we're having mentee-mentee relationship. It's not about who is at the top, who is at the bottom. We are both having a symbiotic relationship. Mind you, in mentor-mentee relationship, we're bound to have a symbiotic relationship. They said nobody is island of knowledge. That's a fact. So as a mentee, you shouldn't, as a mentor, you shouldn't see yourself as the know-all. No, you shouldn't see yourself as know-all. If you try to prove that to your mentee, you just find that you are just going to be floor out in the process, because most of the mentees that we have these days, they are Gen Zs, and most of them, they are, in terms of IT, in terms of knowledge, they are there. And because of the fact that we mentor, there are probably some people who call themselves the mentor, will say that, oh, I have experience, I have more knowledge than this way. But in the long run, you will notice that the mentee actually are supposed to even be your mentor because of the knowledge they have as well. So it's supposed to be a collaborative, a symbiotic relationship. That's one of the definition I found in this mentor-mentor relationship. Focus on guidance and development, because at this point, the two actors, they are after benefiting from each other, not one benefiting more from each other. It's a symbiotic relationship. I'll quickly go to the characteristics of this mentor-mentee relationship. We have mutual respect and trust. I believe that I'm speaking to mentor on this call. You know, most of us, we've seen ourselves to be all-knowing, almighty knower, or almighty person in terms of knowledge. No, we shouldn't see ourselves as such, because we are bound to, you know, based on our experience, we are bound to have some experience that we are not even, like for instance, in IT now, for instance, the world is going digitalized. And if you have a knowledge of all the theories that we know in the past, we have Taylor's theories, all those management theory, we are thinking that, oh, nobody knows better than you. You are taking it in the wrong way. So you have to, if you're having a mentor-mentee relationship, you must have it as back of the mind to learn from the mentee as well. Not only learning, not only giving out to mentee, you also need to also learn from the mentee as a mentor. So it's supposed to be a mutual relationship, not boss-subordinate relationship, or not what one of my mentors would normally say, that you shouldn't be a tormentor. Mentor should not be a tormentor, should be an advisor to the mentee, not a tormentor. Then personal and professional growth. The focus extends beyond immediate job tasks to include long-term career development, personal growth, skill enhancement. We know mentor, no doubt, they have this knowledge, they have this experience, they have all this band of knowledge, you understand? So the mentee also supposed to also learn from that kind of relationship. You shouldn't be a kind of boss subordinate relationship this time around. It's supposed to be mutual relationship. Then also, we also need to have one of the characteristics of mentor-mentee relationship is open communication. Communicate with your mentee as a mentor. Also, as a mentee, you also need to communicate with your mentor. Not only getting advice from him, also share your own knowledge about what is going on around you so that you'll be able to have a close relationship. However, I need to put caveat on this. The caveat is that you shouldn't be a mentee, as for instance, shouldn't be a nuisance to your mentor. Know when to communicate. We have several ways of communication. We have several ways. We can use WhatsApp, we can use Facebook, you can use text message, you can even use phone call to communicate. But you must, when you are doing that communication, you must be honest when you are communicating with your mentor. And when, as a mentee also, when you are communicating to your mentee as well, you also need to be open-minded, not a closed-minded. You know, I've worked with a boss that he doesn't want to hear other people's opinion. This is what I think, and he doesn't want you to think otherwise than that. Thinking otherwise, he felt then as if you are trying to create a structure outside what he has created. So you need to be open in terms of in terms of your communication with your mentee, either as a mentee or as a mentor. Now we are looking at both subordinate relationship and mentor relationship. What makes them to be more unique to this topic? You know, in a boss relationship, we are talking about power dynamics. Boss wanted to show that he is a boss, you know. But the mentee relationship, power is more balanced. You have equal rights in terms of relationship. And interactive style as well is also one of those characteristics of the relationship between both subordinate relationship and mentor-mentee relationship. You know, so in terms of interactions, there should be a clear boundaries and limited personal engagement. As a mentor, you shouldn't be asking your mentee, have you eaten today? When are you getting married? You know, all those personality doesn't supposed to come in. You need to be focused on informal, as in what should I say, semi-formal relationship, not actually to be open, or throw up all the information we have with each other. Then we also have interactive between mentee and mentee. Is more formal, more informal, supportive, and focus on personal connection and growth, especially career growth. Career growth is what is more important here. Now, what is the benefit will you derive, or what benefit would subordinate boss relationship bring to the table? You know, one of the benefits of the boss relationship in the work environment is clear accountability and decision making is very clear. But in mentee-mentee relation or mentor-mentee relationship, the relationship between your mentor, because your mentor might actually not be within the organization, because your mentor can come even outside the organization. But what I'm focusing on now on this call is making yourself as a mentor, as a boss, to become a mentor to the subordinates you have, your junior ones in the office. And this will make you to be more flexible in terms of your knowledge, in terms of your work-life balance, because you can't be doing all and be micromanaging people and think that, oh, you know it all, nobody knows better than you know. And this is, maybe as the time goes on, as we move on, you will see the benefits that we're going to mention. Before I will now come to my story on how I translate from boss-subordinate relationship to mentee-mentor relationship over the course of my career after my first experience in one company in Lagos as a HR officer. That was back then, 2019. No, that was 2009. Before I joined other organizations. So the impact of mentee relationship on work-life balance, because when you see your boss, and when you see this is speaking directly to the mentor on this call. When you see your subordinate as a mentee, not as subordinate, it gives you several advantages of transferring knowledge that you have to them to help them in career development. Because if you continue doing boss-subordinate relationship, your subordinate will not learn anything from the vast knowledge you have. And this will be of waste because of the fact that you know it all. Yes, no doubt about it. You are Cambridge trained person, no wahala, there's no problem. However, you need to also soft the pedal, and that's one of the impact that this mentor relationship will give you in terms of your work-life balance. One, positive outcome, it reduces your stress and burnout, because if you're a kind of person in the office that you felt that, oh, you know it all, if you're not in the office, nothing can go on, you are not a good staff. Let me use that word, or you are not a good boss. In fact, if I hire you as a staff or as a member of my team, I will be the first to fire you, sincerely, because the knowledge that you have supposed to be translated to the subordinate. That's why we always talk about succession planning. So how will succession planning when you don't translate this knowledge to the young one or to the subordinate? I know some of us will say, oh, there's no job in the country, I have to keep what I have. No, that's the thinking of the past. The thinking of today now is that you need to create a mentee relationship with your subordinate, not subordinate anymore. They're supposed to be your mentee rather. You're supposed to be their mentor so that they can learn from you, and also be able to, for you also to be able to have a time for your work-life balance. Because if everything starts and ends with you, my brother, you are my sister, my brother, you will not be able to, earthwise, will not be able to thrive. So we have better time management. It's also one of the impact of the mentor-mentor relationship on work-life balance is better time management, because you know what time you need to delegate tasks. And when you delegate the tasks to your subordinates, you give them a free hand to do it. Don't micromanage. By the time you start to micromanage, you are already threatening, or you are already destroying that mentor-mentor relationship. And after all, most of those mentor or most of those mentees will see it as authoritative, because they don't give them a free hand to think on their own, to contribute meaningfully to the organization. You understand? So it is very important we notice this. And as well, also the mentee as well. You also cannot see your boss or your mentor as someone that doesn't help you. The children, they say, oh, those one are old cargo, or old lifestyle, or old senior colleagues. No, we need to learn from each other so that we'll be able to move forward. It also impact on increased job satisfaction, because when a mentee knows that, or when a subordinate see himself as mentee in an organization, he tends to give all to the company. And this as well also contributes as a positive impact on succession planning of that organization. Because as the time goes on, even if you spend 25 years in a particular company, there's a deadline. There's a deadline waiting for you to retire. So if you don't build a good mentee-mentor relationship with your subordinate, it will be very difficult for you to retire well. So it's very important to mentor. And the mentee as well, you should also be very submissive, because I know several people who call themselves a mentee, they don't tend to give regards to the mentors. They believe that, oh, those ones, they know they are old cargo. They are not, they don't know what is going on now. You know, the practice now is quite different from what they know in the past. You know, you shouldn't see yourself as such. I had the experience of someone who had the first class, came to the organization and was dishing out decisions. And I was like, bros, calm down now. This is how to do things. You shouldn't run. You shouldn't run. You shouldn't run faster than your shadow. There's procedures you need to follow. You know, but because of the fact that he see himself or herself as a first-class graduate, he knows it all. You know, he tends to be throwing tantrums. You know, like in Yoruba land, we always say that we're always very careful. We always have one adage that we normally, I don't know if majority of us have, okay, don't let me make that one. We always have a kind of relationship that you said, okay, the old person that you thought that it is old, that is thought is a mentor, he doesn't know as you know, might also set a trap for you that makes you to make a mistake. So it's better for you to be submissive and ready to share knowledge with your mentor, not only to be receiving. You should also need to also share as well. Then work-life harmony also encourage a flexible work arrangement, because as a mentee, as a boss, if you see yourself as a mentor, you should be able to, close your eyes and say, even if I'm not in this office anymore, I've built people to take up my responsibility without even being looking at negative part of it that I'll be useless in the organization. No, because of the fact that the relationship you build now, it matters in the future. It might not actually take control over you now, but to your offspring or to your children. Because if you didn't build a good relationship with your subordinate, in terms of mentee-mentor relationship, this strengthening a mentee-mentor relationship with your subordinate, it may not be very positive in the future, because whatever you have done to a person now, you will never forget. You will never forget whatever knowledge you have shared with your subordinate. You will never forget it. But even if he rose above you in the organization, you will still have a conscience that you brought him to this level that he is. You understand? So let's have open-minded when we are having this mentor relationship in an office environment. And support for personal life integration. It's a mentor, a mentee that is just coming up needs to learn from the experienced person, so that I'll be able to know the nitty-gritty of the work. The impact of mentee is for the mentor. I think I've already mentioned this. It foster fit all succession planning in the organization. It creates easy transfer of responsibility of work-life balance, such as free time to attend to other interests of individual. It also elongates lifespan of individual as a mentor, because if you make it all work start from here and end with you, you might work yourself. You might have a burnout because of the fact that you walk all around the corner, and you felt that you are the only one that can be able to teach out all those instructions. Without you being in the organization, you felt nothing can go as smooth as possible. No, should change our thinking. For mentee, it creates opportunity for career growth. It fosters easy ways of gaining knowledge, all the ways of the career path. That's for mentee that is ready to learn, because there are some mentee that are not ready to learn. So for those who are ready to learn, the relationship, mentor-mentor relationship, we create a foster easy way of gaining knowledge all the way to the career path. It empowers individuals to showcase inner skills and potentials. You understand? So I'm still going to make a stories on this. Just let's move on. We have strategy for implementation of this mentee relation. Developing a mentor program in your organization will make this into work. Identify potential mentors and mentees in your organization, either in operations, either in HR, in admin, in accounts, in logistics. You need to have a potential mentee mentor within that organization. Establish clear goals and expectations when you are creating or identifying this mentor. The mentor should not be a tormentor. Look at the character of the person before you choose the person to have as is to have a mentee or mentor to be attached to a mentor in your organization. In my organization, we have what we call body program, BUDDY, B-U-D-D-Y, body program, where a higher learning, a senior colleagues take up a junior colleagues to create a mentor-mentee relationship at workplace, not outside the work. To learn in terms of part of our onboarding is to learn from what it has been in place, so that the mentee could be able to thrive or do well on the first day of the job. Provide training and resources. Provide training and resources for the two of them. You understand? It might be a formal relationship. It might be informal relationship. In terms of the training, it can be Saturdays, 2 hours interactions, or 1 hour interactions. If you are probably working Monday to Friday in your workplace, you can create it maybe 2 hours or 1 hour within the organization, or on Saturdays. I wouldn't want to say probably on Sunday, but if you can, why not? You can do it also on Saturday and Sunday. Fostering a supportive culture, encourage open communications. Encourage open communications. Don't make all the knowledge start with you and end with you as a mentor, and also as a mentee as well, or as a subordinate in this case in the office environment. You should also share knowledge. Open communication with your mentor so that you'll be able to have this symbiotic relationship. Recognize and reward mentoring efforts. You understand? You as a mentee, there's nothing bad for you to have maybe a provision for refreshments, when you meet probably outside the workplace, to learn from your mentee. There's nothing wrong with it. So you just to create a symbiotic relationship with you, with your mentee. This same thing applies to the mentor as well. The knowledge you gain from the mentee is also a part of reward you gain from this relationship. So you should also take note of that. Promote continuous learning. Share a lot of learning opportunities with your mentees, because it's part of things that could make them to also grow as well. Respect individual. Respect the boundary. Do not take relationship for granted. I mentioned this on my first call. Then a summary of what I've discussed, a recap of benefit and impact of transforming workshop relationship, impact of work-life balance in today's work environment, encourage attendees to advocate for and implement mentor relationships, promote a culture of balance and support in their own organization. At this point, I would like to mention at this point that while I was starting my career as HR about 15 years ago, I noticed that my experience I had in my first job, it gave me a kind of a psychological experience that boss relationship doesn't pay. It's mentor-mentee relationship that actually pay as a subordinate and also as a boss. But my boss also later realized that, oh, Shuaib, how did you translate from the way I was managing then to now? I always tell him that, oh, boss, that time you always say, do it as I do. Don't do it outside the box, and that kind of relationship, I don't want to have it with the next generation, because we are as a mentee, we are meant to build a good generation to come, not to transfer our old learning just because of the fact that we have experienced bad boss, tormentor boss, and translate that style to our mentors. No, to our mentees rather. No, because of that my experience, it gave me a kind of resolution that if I become a boss one day, I will never see myself as a boss. I will see myself as a mentor to the mentee, because there are a lot of advantage of being a mentor to a mentee than to be a subordinate than to be a boss to a subordinate. It's very important, because by the time you are trying to be a boss, it will come a time that even for you to go on leave, it will not be possible, because the organization will see that, oh, there's no way you can leave because of the fact that if you are not there, the department will destroy. But if you have created a mentor relationship with your subordinate, you will understand the fact that even if I'm not there, my mentee could be able to even take up the job even without me. In fact, it's as if you are even putting on pilot mode. You already know who and who is supposed to do the good job. So just assign the work and relax. Though they may do a mistake, that's one of the fear most of us normally look at. Oh, I don't want a flaw on the department, so I need to be high on everybody. No, as a child also is born, there's a time you need to crawl, and there's a time you will crawl, you will fall, you will crawl. A parent will guide him and say, okay, these are to stand, these are to walk. You understand? Before you can be able to perfect it. So you shouldn't see it as, oh, if I assign all this work to all my juniors, all my subordinates, they will do it, they will mess it up. No, If they mess it up, that means that you have not been a good boss. You have not been a good mentor at this point. So you need to create that opportunities for them. So at this point, I'm encouraging all of us, mentee and mentor, to advocate and implement what we learned today. We need to promote culture of balance and support in our way, in improving the ways of doing things in our various organizations. We need to change the way we manage our subordinates. And also, as a subordinate, we need to know how to manage our boss to become our mentor. You know, you shouldn't let them be your mentor. I don't encourage anybody to be a mentor to anybody, because we are in the business of human relationship. In my experience as HR, I've seen a lot of subordinates trying to be proven to be to know it all, probably because of the fact that they have a very good grade from universities, or they have a master's or what have you, and they are probably their subordinate, their boss probably is maybe first degree holder, but because of experience, he was put in a place of higher than them. So they tend to show a kind of attitude, and the attitude is everything. If you are showing a good attitude, it will encourage, to motivate someone to mentor you. But if you are showing a bad attitude, a lackadaisical attitude, I don't want to say this is common among the Gen Zs. No, I don't want to mention that. But you need to submissive. You need to learn. You need to show that attitude to learn, to become a good mentee in an organization. At this point, I will probably going to share a few points of my experience that makes me to decide that in every organization that I'm going to work with, I'm going to ensure that all my subordinates are indirectly become my mentee. Because in my former place of work, I've done that. In fact, even recently, when I resigned, the person take over as even the HR manager. And today he has become a very good mentee. We had a lot of relationship we only have, even outside the office, after we have even left the organization for a long time. So if I have not created this, I have not changed my mentality and say, oh, I need to change this mentality of becoming what my boss, how I've been treated in the past by my boss, to also treat my subordinate that way. I will not be able to be proud at this point to even share that my knowledge with you. You understand? So you need to, both as a mentor, as mentee, you need to also have this attitude. Attitude is all what matters. At this point, I can also ask a few people on this call who is the mentee to also share their experience as well in terms of how the mentees were actually also interacting with them. Because I know there are various mentors on this call that have had both similar experience I have, and the one that I don't even know that I can share with us on this call. I've only just shared with you I don't want to mention the organization I've worked and those ones that have become my mentee over time. The majority of them might be on this call, I might not know. But I always think as human resource professional to see how to develop talent within the organization through the use of mentee-mentor relationship rather than boss-subordinate relationship. So at this point, I'll probably open floor. I don't know if my time is up, but if it's not, I will give opportunity to whoever that wants to share the knowledge among all our participants on this call in terms of building relationship, building mentee-mentor relationship in a workplace. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for that insightful session. Ladies and gentlemen, this is our opportunity to contribute and share. If you like to say something, share your thoughts, ask questions, this is a good time to do so. All right, please raise your hands and we will enable you to speak. My network is fluctuating in case I'm taken out. All right, so we'll just continue. And if you prefer to drop your questions or comments in the chat box, we'll be glad to quickly go through them, whichever is convenient. Thank you so much, Mr. Adil Shraib, for sharing with us from your wealth of experience. I'm still checking the chat to see if we have any comments or questions. If you prefer to speak, all you need to do is raise your hands. We give you access to unmute, and you can ask your questions, make your contributions as the case may be. I'm checking through.
Okay, while we are doing that, I want it to be interactive. That was the reason why I was asking people to share their own knowledge as well, because this call is supposed to be interactive one. Okay, thank you. Uche, now you have the floor, please. I think I'm seeing Uchenna raising up her hands. I don't know if he has a question or you want to contribute. Okay. Uchenna, please, you can unmute yourself. Okay, I think maybe Uchenna probably okay, Uncle K.
Hello.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Okay, good evening, sir. Thank you for this section so far. My name is Uche. It's been insightful, very, very insightful. And I just want to share this experience. When I saw the topic for today, I said I'll make, to listen, because I have an issue at hand currently regarding boss subordinate, relationship, which in my own place of work, I think is more of trying to build a culture of mentor and the mentee. But having different generations at work currently have not made that very, very easy for line managers, where the generations at work perceive those kind of training as, like you say, micromanaging, but it's not the case. So in this scenario, from what you have taught so far, I think the bosses so far have yielded to having a mentor-mentee relationship. But in a situation where you do not have the mentees reciprocating, accepting that there is a learning going on, not just looking at the person teaching you, maybe you know it better, maybe in this era of technology, I can do this faster. They don't have regard for like structures in place. And this boss is saying, put this in place, put that in place, check this before you send out your mails. Let me have a look at it. So it has been a bit challenging. An incident happened, and okay, somewhere somebody is referencing another staff, maybe like a recommendation on a page. And here you go writing to them as you are the boss, kind of. You were referring to your recommendation sounded moral. You claiming the position of the boss. And the boss now queries the subordinate. Yes, you can do this recommendation, but you would state your category where you're giving this reference. You shouldn't have, and they are not seeing it like that. It became talk back. I have the right, I'm professionally sound. So what will be your best advice? Because I think now it has gone to persons. It's personality. In our own time, we look forward to seeing people mentoring you, going to them to say, teach me this, how do I do this? But now it is not the case. So what would be your advice on how best to establish? I've seen your lesson this evening, and I've taken one or two cues from that, but just speak more on how you can, marry this in the generations we have at work, where people don't see it as they might take it for granted and run into talkbacks. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Uchenna, for that question. I think one of the problem, so I say one of the challenge. Let me say problem. One of the challenge that we have as a mentor is because we fail to realize that the Gen Zs that are just coming into the workspace, they have different perspective of work. They have different what work to them is different from what we millennials, like myself, I'm a millennials. What we millennials see as what should be done in the workplace, the Gen Z are not seeing it that way. They felt that with the crops of them coming, there's no two ways about it. Most of the new recruit that we're going to be having in the next 5 years, 3 years, 2 years to come are going to be this set of Gen Zs.
Mm-hmm.
And how I normally manage these Gen Zs when I was in my former place of work is, first and foremost, at the onboarding process, at the onboarding time, I made them realize that I'm your fellow colleagues. We are all fellow colleagues. Forget about if I'm a boss, so if you have created that environment that we are not, there's nothing like boss subordinate relationship at this point. However, there will be a boundary of what to do and what not to do. If you have this orientation well clear and defined to them, I think they also have some level of reasonable thinking. And on the part of giving them opportunities to probably not micromanaging them to thrive well in the organization, there's a period we call testing water. Let them make that mistake. Once you let them make that mistake. In that mistakes, you let them realize that at this point, sending this mail is wrong at this time. Some of them will feel that I can send you any mail anytime. As a mentor, you believe that you can send a mail to your mentee anytime, any day. But the Gen Zs will see that you are encroaching into his or her private life, as in our free time, to do other things that is other Gen Z does. So in my own advice at this point to you is that create that environment with them, that these are the things that you're supposed to let them know what is the reward they need to get from the relationship. You understand? If they don't see any reasons why they should be in the office, some of them, we all know how the Gen Zs normally behave. Sometimes they throw tantrum. Sometimes they felt that the rules supposed to be changed. It's not. They will say it's not in vogue. That means it's a kind of going to create some of the challenge to us. We know as a mentor, we know as a millennial, but we need to create a good environment, an environment that they can thrive and also learn a lot of, because they don't know anything. I need to be honest. Some of them don't know anything. They might have a first class from universities or whatever, but when they come to practical, they don't know anything. You understand?
Yes,
and this translates to our universities system now. But I don't want to blame any universities. I don't want to blame anybody. However, we need to just try as much as possible, create an enabling environment with them. Let them, in Yoruba, we normally call Yoman Fa, I don't know how to say it in English. You understand? You create an enabling environment with them. Be nice, but not be too nice. You understand? I don't say you should be too nice. Be nice with them. Create first impression, last longer experience with them. And once you've done that, I can bet you they know what to do at the right time. So if they are to send a mail without you being aware of, just tell them, but when you're sending a mail, this is your assignment. You must let them know this is your assignment, and you must carry it out. And even if you do mistake, I'll be there for you to correct you. So it's not about telling them, oh, this is what to do, this is what not to do. You understand? But create that environment with them and say, okay, you want to learn, you want to be the boss one day. These are the things you need to learn. These are the things you must abide. These are the attitude that's required as a mentee in an organization or as a subordinate, whatever the case may be. You must let it clear with them and also create an environment with them. And that's what I can advise on that. I think I'm seeing another question.
Thank you. If
I'll be able to answer your question, I'll give advice as requested.
Yes, please. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. I think Mr. Yemi, you have the floor to read out the questions so that I can answer them.
Please take the questions in the chat box, sir. You can take the questions in the chat box.
Okay. I think someone is asking that I want to ask, why do some prefer company property than workers' security? This question is not that clear. I want to ask, why do some? Who is this? Some mentee or mentor? Yeah, it's
saying
not clear.
Some HR prefer company property than workers' security. I think that's what you're saying.
Okay. Yeah. There was the box that was closing that HR. Please, I want to ask, why do some HR prefer company's property than workers' security? Do you mean the safety of staff? Is that what you mean by safety, worker security? Okay, I will assume that
we can move on to another question in the interim.
Okay. Good evening, Mr. Thank you for this enlightenment session. I would like to ask, as a mentor, I would like to know how best to communicate without overstepping my boundaries with a mentor. This is where we put our psychological cap as a mentor. When you're interacting with people, you have as an HR, I know we have been known to be unofficial psychologists. When you're interacting with people or someone and is showing a kind of attitude, or you know what and what the person like, what and what doesn't like, you know how best to communicate with the person, either as a mentee or as a mentor. You understand? So when you are communicating with them, know the boundaries, know the time. You know, there are some people doesn't like to be communicated with them while in church. So you know that in terms of religious, the person doesn't like any form of communication at that period of time. So you study the attitude of the person. So if as a mentor, I know that I have a mentee that on Fridays we go to Jumat time, and at Jumat time I cannot call him either at the time of 4 o'clock prayer or 2 o'clock prayer while at work. I can't do that. I have to know my boundaries. That's where the boundary comes. So when you are communicating with them, you ensure that you are communicating without over being informal. You shouldn't be over informal. You should just be a moderate. Maybe you can ask, how are you doing? You know, don't say how was your night. You know, when you ask someone how was your night, it tends to take it as, oh, why are you asking me how was my night? You know, that is about communication. So the way and manner you construct your message and communication with that person, we know that you are not overstepping his boundary. You are not overstepping your boundary. Like, for instance, I have a mentor, not a mentee, a mentor that I know that is my senior colleagues, that on every day, you will send me message on daily news, daily news, newspaper news, and send to me on my WhatsApp. And there was I have to chat with him that, Oga, are you started selling newspaper now? You understand? So that time when I say, sorry, I was just trying to spread that message to all my mentors. I said, no, this kind of thing, we have gone beyond reading newspapers on WhatsApp. You know, it's although in his mind, it's just sending it on the innocent mind. But to me, I see it as it is unnecessary. So though in my response to him, does not mean I would have to be rude to him. I just have to take it as a joke. okay, I want to go be selling newspaper now. He said, no, I was just trying to say, so, okay, sir, this news, you can even get it from the internet. Not even these things I've even read it before you send to. So as at that time, he has stopped sending me that kind of message. And we've been on a very good mood over time. So your interaction with that person we tell if you have overstepping your boundaries or not. So, and as a mentor, you should also be very careful. If your mentor is a married person, the way you communicate with the married person is different from the way you communicate to person who are single. So let's be very mindful of that, and let it be on career path message communication. Don't let it be too formal in terms of your communication with him or her. That's my advice. Can you make your question more clear? Okay, I think someone is asking, okay, how do I enroll in CIPM program? Well, I'm not I'm not a staff or employee of CIPM. However, you can go to the CIPM website, www.cipmnigeria.org, for any information you have or you need on terms of enrolling. Having to manage Gen Z people is a lot because they are quite a handful. How does one change their perspective? I've already shared this when I was having discussion. Create an enabling environment with them. We cannot shy away from the fact that most of the new generation we're going to be having in our workplace now, there are going to be a handful of Gen Zs. In fact, 100% will be Gen Zs, because majority of us, we always like to hire, on internship, or hire a young guys, hire a new talent or a fresh graduate into our organization to improve either our demographic structure of the organization, or we want to improve the knowledge base of the organization. So when you have this handful of these Gen Zs, and I can't turn this discussion on Gen Zs, but there's no way we cannot discuss this mentor relationship without discussing Gen Zs. Gen Zs are taking over from the organization, and we cannot shy away from it. How we're going to manage them now depends on us as a mentor. So as a mentor, for Adeshola, as you ask this question, is to ensure that you create an enabling environment with them. We all know what these Gen Zs want, except if you have not been studying Gen Zs over time. We all know their way of thinking. They want free time, let's work. You understand? They want to go against that law of the more you work, the more you have more money. They like to have more time for their life than the work itself. So create that environment that, okay, we work 9 to 6 or we work 9 to 5. Create 2 hours or 1 hour of their time as lunch. During that lunch time, create a kind of create a time within the lunch time to appreciate their contribution to the organization. When they see themselves as someone who is very important to the organization, they tend to respect whoever that is in the control of the authority. But when they see that you are too how will I put it, too strict, too official and things, they tend to probably, some of them will tell you that in the next 1 hour they are resigning, they are getting another job. So that's like the characters. Some of them will even refer to as I hereby resign. I hereby resign is very common among them. So we need them. There's no shy away from them. We need the Gen Zs in our organization. In fact, we need them more at this time to improve our processes, to improve our workplace, the work experience of people in the workplace. So you need to create a learning environment with them, and also be able to, if you have, maybe you have 50% of them are Gen Zs, create a insightful engagement. Maybe 1 hour Zoom meetings with them, or because some of them are not actually want to be a kind of office person. Some of them might be working remotely, depending on your composition or the work process in your organization. So create that working environment, enable environment for them to thrive. And once they say that you have created a good working environment for them, they will tend to be cooperative in terms of being a good mentees. I think I'll be able to answer that question. So I'll quickly go to the next question. Mary, please check SEPI. Okay, someone has already. Why do the HR department often prioritize company's property over worker security? I think this question has been. I will also just suggest we change our mindset towards employee in general. Some millennials are worse off. Well, I may agree with you, Sheung. I may agree with you. But, you know, majority of we millennials, we call ourselves millennials, because they said that those who were born between 1979 to 1990 are millennials. So we know that these Gen Z people, they have their way, their attitude towards work. You understand? So we also need to be mindful of our interaction with them. So I don't know if this is a question, Sheung, but I'm just agreeing with what you sent on the chat box. I don't know if anybody has another question so that I could be able to round it up. Dr. Adeoshu, do we have any other questions?
Thank you so much.
Okay, I think I see one.
I'm trying to confirm if this is a question from Kasimu Chegia.
Chegia, okay. Okay,
Yes.
Evening, sir. Thanks for this wonderful delivery on topics. What will a subordinate do in an event where he is trying to build a mentor-mentee relationship with his boss, but the said person is not looking at that in the angle. I mean, he wants to say angle, in the angle of mentor-mentee relationship, rather than being bossy in all. In such case, what should the mentee do in such situation? Well, I found myself in this situation, and what I did at that point is to create my exit plan, because I can't imagine creating a kind of relationship that I know that I want to create a relationship with my boss, and it's trying to be too bossy. I have this blood of the Gen Z in me. Well, I don't know, but like I said before, like I said on this call, my experience with my first job makes me to change my perspective of making my subordinate to be a subordinate. It doesn't pay. It doesn't pay anywhere. So my advice to the person that you are referring to is to change his way. Very soon it might thought that he's the overall boss, it all. Over time, maybe after 10 years or 15 years on the job, you might probably leave the organization, or may not even be relevant. It's not like might not be relevant in the organization. So what experience will it have laid down to the subordinate to look after? So in my own experience, and what I did in this situation I find myself in the past, I plan my exits. I plan my exits to leave the job, because I can't imagine you living or working in the environment where you have a too bossy boss. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Like I said, everybody has their own ways of how will I put it? I don't know how to put it, of endurance. I don't know how the level at which you can endure. But what our advice is that you can endure for a while, but our advice, you plan your exit, because it will not create a good psychological experience with you, and that might affect you in the future, because you also want to translate that experience to the next generation, which I don't advise. Even in all my mentor gathering I've been in the past. So I think that's the option for you. But if you know that you don't have no option than to work with the person, please try as much as possible to manage, or read a book called How to Manage Your Boss. How to manage that person before you could be able to exit. But if you know that exit is not an option for you, please try as much as possible to endure, and also advise. There are some people that have there are some mentee or there are some boss, as tyranny as they are, there are some advice you chip to them. They tend to come down with that and say, oh, what this guy said is actually making sense. Except those one that doesn't want to learn or doesn't want to care to learn. Thank you very much.
Thank you most sincerely, Mr. Dioshua. This has been a fantastic session. Thank you for sharing with us from the depth of your experience, wisdom, so passionately, so persuasively. We have learned multiple gems and insights from your
Okay, I think we lost the voice
everyone
of,
who joined the session tonight. Thank you for joining this webinar tonight. As always, we'll upload to the YouTube channel tonight so that you can rewatch and can also share with your friends, colleagues who will gain valuable insights. Let's have a fruitful week ahead, and thank you once again. I will unmute everybody. So if you want to just say thank you to Mr. Dioshua, please feel free to unmute and say thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Joshua. Thank you, Mr. Shaib.
Thank you.
Very insightful.
Thank you,
class.
Mr.
Thank you
Shuaib.
so much.
Thank you
Thank you,
very
Mr.
much.
Shrabu. It was wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
everybody.